Alright, hey guys, I hope everyone is doing well. This is Rudy. Hey, I want to make this video a comparison between the life of Muhammad and his values and his ethical systems compared with the examples set forth by Jesus in the Bible. The Muslims have been brainwashed and indoctrinated their whole lives to think that God cannot begot anybody, the begotten Son of God, right? But Jesus was God. Jesus, in the beginning, was the Word, right? And the Word became flesh, right? And so God became flesh to be a perfect example of a perfect life and to also become a sacrifice for the sins of all mankind. And also Muslims probably don't read their own Quran or their own Hadith much. They're probably similar to the Catholics in that regard, in that they believe they need an imam to intercede for them. And so where the Catholic priest will intercede for the masses to God, or they pray to Mary to be an interceder. When Jesus died and he said, Anno Domini, it is finished, he broke the veil, right? And so there's no longer a need to have an intercession or an interceder between God and mankind. Each man can pray to God directly, and you don't need an imam to tell you what God is saying. And so, I don't like sitting here and making videos about 6-year-old child brides cleaning the semen off of Muhammad's clothes and talking about multiple wives, all of the things that I end up talking about. It's not like a pleasure for me. I don't get to say, I get to talk about, child sex brides and all this stuff, right? But it's in Muhammad's book. It's in the Quran and it's in the Hadith. And we need to plainly speak about it so that people understand what they're talking about and what Islam is all about. And so people don't want to talk about these things, and you end up, the Southern charm, the Southern hospitality of let's be tolerant and let's be friendly, and we end up like being friendly to people who their underlying philosophy, the underlying philosophy of the Quran is to discredit Jesus Christ and to take over the world. And they do that through lots of different ideals, right? Taqiyya being one of them, jizya tax, jihad, right? There's lots of different ideals that is embedded in the core of Islam. And when your nature is, hey, they built a mosque down the road, isn't that nice? It's freedom of religion. Let's let them build a mosque over here. Let's let them build a mosque over there. They can get in the middle of the road and block traffic and pray all day. But you're not picking up on the ultimate goal of these people, right? Their ultimate goal is to convert the whole world to Islam, and if you don't convert, they want to behead you, right? It's dictated to them in the Quran. Go read, I think it's book 9, verse 29, if I'm not mistaken. It's called the verse of the sword. Let me find it real quick. It's book 9, verse 29, I believe. Don't mean to make you guys wait, but that's an important verse. Yeah, here it goes. It's called the verse of the sword. Surah 9, verse 29. Fight against those who believe not in Allah, nor in the last day, nor forbid that which has been forbidden by Allah and His Messenger Muhammad, and those who acknowledge not the religion of truth among the people of the Scripture, which are the Jews and the Christians, until they pay the jizya tax with willing submission and feel themselves subdued. There's other verses in here that says to slay them where you find them, and that Jews and Christians are the worst of creatures. So, as you're being nice and you think, most Muslims that you meet are very upstanding. They seem to have a good grasp of family ethics, but you need to read their book. You need to read what's driving them. They see the Western culture as being full of debauchery, fornication, and it is, right? But they think that they have the higher moral standard. right? But they do not, because their book is full of, the book of the Quran, the primary purpose of the Quran is to discredit Jesus Christ. And the secondary purpose is it's some wild, pedophile, power-hungry, sadistic Muhammad's fantasy, right? It's like Satan's fantasy to take over the world. But the primary purpose is to discredit Jesus Christ. I don't know where to start. I was reading the Quran last night. I try to read it a little bit every night. I've read it through twice. I'm on my third way through. And I'm trying to take notes this time. And I'm trying to call out things that are just incredibly important. I want to read to you guys. This is the Sahih al-Bukhari hadith. I'll hold it up so you can see the title. And I want to read to you some sections that really just stick out in my mind. Okay, it says, narrated by Aisha. This is Muhammad was 53 years old. Aisha was 6 years old. When Muhammad was 62, Aisha was 18, I guess. Or 15, sorry. 9 plus... well, it's either 9 plus 9, because he married her at 9. He took her... he had a marriage contract at 6, so he was betrothed to her at 6. So when Muhammad died at 62, I guess Aisha was either 15 or 18. But he had been with her since she was 6 years old. So here's a part narrated by Aisha. And it talks about when Aisha was taken to the Prophet Muhammad to go live with him, she took her dolls, right? It's in the Sahih Muslim hadith. It says that she took her dolls so she would have something to play with when Muhammad was not having sex with her. Okay, narrated by Aisha, the wife of the Prophet. We set out with Allah's messenger on one of his journeys till we reached Al-Baida, or Dat al-Jaish. A necklace of mine was broken and lost. So the little girl, Aisha, lost her necklace. Allah's messenger stayed there to search for it, and so did the people along with him. There was no water at that place, so the people went to Abu Bakr al-Siddiq, and said, don't you see that what Aisha has done? She has made the Allah's messenger and the people stay where there is no water, and if they have and they have no water with them. Abu Bakr came while Allah's messenger was sleeping with his head on my thigh. So you got this little 9-year-old girl, and Muhammad is sleeping with his head on her thigh. He said to me, you have detained Allah's messenger and the people where there is no water, because she lost her necklace, and they have no water with them. So he admonished me, and he said what Allah wished him to say. So I guess Allah was even mad at Aisha for losing her necklace. And he hit me on the flank. So Abu Bakr just whacks little Aisha really hard, right? And with his hand, he hit me on my flank with his hand. Nothing prevented me from moving because of the pain, but the position of Allah's messenger on my thigh. Allah's messenger got up when the dawn broke and there was no water. So there's an example where you got Abu Bakr, which is some little kid beater, and he's whacking little poor Aisha up against the flank, which I guess the flank is right here. He's whacking her on the flank, and then you got pedophile Muhammad with his head between Aisha's thighs. And when he hits her, it says the pain was so bad and it didn't prevent me from moving. I would have moved because I got hit so hard, except Muhammad had his head between my thighs. My goodness. I don't even know what to say. Can people not see that this is a pedophilic warlord fantasy? This guy is no example of what to live a godly life. This is narrated by Jabir, okay? The prophet said, I have been given 5 things which were not given to anyone else. The prophet is continually lifting himself up. Allah made me victorious by frightening my enemies for a distance of 1 month's journey. This is like Muhammad bragging that God has done these things for me, but he didn't do them for anybody else. The earth has made for me and for my followers a place for offering prayer. So let's listen to that again. The earth, this is Muhammad talking. The earth has been made for me and for my followers, a place for offering prayers to purify. Therefore, any one of my followers can offer salat wherever he is at the time of salat. Okay, number 3. So Muhammad thinks that all of his enemies, he's been made victorious over all of his enemies. The earth has been made for him specifically. And number 3, the booty, which means the women. When you go into a tribe and you conquer them, the women, because they all love to have the booty, right? And you look around at your wife, look around at your daughters, look around at your wife and look around at your daughters. The Islamic people think of them as booty. Once they conquer America, your wife and your daughters become their booty. The booty has been made halal, which means lawful. The booty has been made lawful to me, but it was not made lawful to anyone else. So Muhammad said that God has given me the booty of war, but nobody else gets to have the booty that came before me. I have been given the right of intercession on the day of resurrection. I want you guys to remember that, because I'm going to talk about that a little bit more. I have been given the right of intercession on the day of resurrection. Okay? That goes back to having someone intercede for you. The Islamic people think that the imams intercede for them. They need Muhammad to intercede for them. They don't think they can have a relationship with God directly that Jesus Christ provided. And then Muhammad goes on to say that every prophet that was sent before him was sent to only his nation, but I have been sent to all of mankind. Muhammad is very, very proud of himself. Muhammad is a very, very proud pedophile and a very, very proud warlord. And he said that Jesus was only sent to his people, but Muhammad was sent to all of mankind, which is a big lie, because the whole Bible stresses that the message of Jesus Christ is to all mankind. See, Satan tries to take the message of Jesus and to copy it. Okay, I want to read you guys this verse in the Quran. It's Surah 4, verse 3. It says, "And if you fear that you shall not be able to deal justly with the orphan girls, then marry women of your choice, 2, 3, or 4. But if you fear that you should not be able to deal with them justly, then only one of the slaves that your right hand possesses." That's a very important phrase in the Quran. It talks about your right hand possesses. The right hand possesses is referring to the booty that you get in wartime when you take over another nation. So when it talks about the women that your right hand possesses, that's not your Islamic wife, right? Your Islamic wife is not the wife that your right hand possesses. That's your Islamic wife. But the wife that your right hand possesses is the American wife that you'll take over when you take over America, right? So that's the wife. You can have multiple wives that your right hand possesses, because you can have multiple wives in booty. Okay. I want to read you guys another thing too, about the day of resurrection and what Muhammad thinks about himself on the day of resurrection. See how much time I got. Okay, I'll just read this until I run out of time, and I'm going to have to make it 2 parts. Okay, the day of resurrection is the last day, with the day of judgment, and I want you to read what Muhammad thinks about himself on the day of judgment. This totally blew me away.